having a chance to talk with one of the ultimate champions of the Indianapolis Speedrome stock car era through the 1960s through the 1980s, a man who was the ultimate winner of the World Figure Eight Championship, that went for the Indianapolis Speedrome and tried some other things, and is best known as probably the toughest figure eight competitor in the world of the Indianapolis Speedrome. About the time that figure eight racing began to become a major force at that racetrack, and that is Kenny St. John, five-time the World Championship in the World Championship. And Kenny, can you remember exactly why you decided to run in the Indianapolis Speedrome?
Well, my dad raced there when I was coming up through the ranks, and that helped me a lot. My brother Tom, he was an accomplished mechanic out there. He helped me through the first couple of race cars, because you go through a lot of race cars in a career like I had at the Speedrome. I had a lot of fun out there, made a lot of money out there, won a lot of races out there, made a big name for myself in big name, small pond, you might say. But we had a ball every Friday and Saturday night at the Indianapolis Speedrome.
Now, you could have raced any number of places because there are lots of racetracks in the Indianapolis and central Indiana area. Why was it the Speedrome, and why was it figure eight racing?
Well, I found the figure eight to be kind of an easier race than an oval is. An oval's awful hard on the motor. With figure eight, just on and off, and just more of a talent type thing than it is the oval. Oval, you just wide open all the time, blast, blast, blast. It is harder on a motor. We found that to be true.
Your major accomplishment at the Indianapolis Speedrome was 5 consecutive victories in what was once called the National Figure Eight Championship, is now called the World Figure Eight Championship, including the all-time lap record, 512 laps of the figure eight racing. Tell us what you remember about figure eight racing and what it made such an enjoyable challenge to you.
Well, it's one of my all-time accomplishments is a 512 lap race. And I'm pretty sure it'll stand for a long, long time. But what was going on was just another race, you know. We was having a good time there. We led a lot that day. When you lead halfway or more, you're going to put up a lot of laps.
And you're in the process of still trying to remember exactly how crazy it was, because there were a couple of times in that World Championship in which you wrecked the car several times during the race, and they put it together and you drove a destroyed or damaged race car and won a major event.
Yeah, I had very good luck in that race. I tore up C.J. Rayburn's left side completely off his late bomber. Didn't have another roll cage showing, but they stuck it back together with glue and bubble gum, and it worked out pretty well for us. We ran about 350, 400 laps like that, run real well, and got the win with it that day.
Now, figure eight racing intimidates some people because of the risks of the crossover. You welcome those risks. Why?
Well, I found it to be easier because, like I said, I felt like I had a lot of talent as far as the crossover action was there. You know, it's there every 2 times every lap. You just got to figure it out and go from there. I had a lot of fun at it, and it was very good to me.
If I remember correctly, most of the time you got through the crossover, there were a few times when you tried to win a race and you had the lead coming out of the last turn and you never got through the crossover because somebody wrecked you. That actually did happen to you several times?
Yeah, it happened to me one time. I borrowed a car that night. It was a competitor's car, a good car, number 0, Lonnie Brelow. And I got picked up coming across the last time across. And from then on in, I learned you don't stop last time or first time. You just got to keep on going.
Now, you ran any number of tracks around Indiana at that same time, large tracks, small tracks, figure-8 tracks, but you kept on coming back to the Speedrome. Why?
Well, I just felt like home there, I was welcomed by the management, and the people at the Speedrome took good care of me. And I had a lot of sponsorship people that was welcomed out there, and it helps a lot when you're doing something out of the back pocket like we did, I had sponsorship people that were welcomed in the pits and in the grandstand as well. It helps a lot.
Now, when you think about the people that you were racing in, there was a guy named, Royce Johnson's was the used to have to race really hard against, and that was one of the people that Charlie Reed was the guy you always had to race hard against. But from what I understand, your toughest competitor at the Speedrome was your own brother, Mikey?
Yeah, little Mikey, he's tough. He is very tough, I rated him in the top 3 or 4 every night. We had to beat him on a racetrack. And we had to beat him every night. He wasn't going to give you nothing. I didn't give nothing, didn't take nothing from him,
So what's it like to run against your own flesh and blood on a racetrack where you know that things are going to be rough and you don't know how things are going to turn out?
That's about a true story. I used to run Anderson Speedway about every weekend that it was open. And my brother, he's in the Speedrome, would keep him after running against me, is what I used to tell him. But he'd do good at Speedrome, and I'd do good at Anderson. And my mother, she's a big Speedrome fan, a big Kenny St. John fan as well. And her night was about 10 o'clock at night. She'd call Anderson to see if I won up there. And she'd call out and see who won the Speedrome. By the time the phone calls were all done, she was well satisfied. She said, "Her boys had a good night."
Let's see if you remember one particular race that was maybe one of your most memorable. It was, I believe, a 4th of July race, maybe back in 1982, where you spun on the first lap, guy went 1 lap down, made up the 100 laps, and won the event without a yellow. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. It was quite an exciting race for me. I got in trouble going in turn 1, and I got held up there for a full lap. In fact, the leader pulled up behind me and said, "Just put me 1 car width away from being 2 laps down." I didn't unlap myself until the 75th lap of a 100 lapper. And I took over the lead on the last turn of the last lap and won it that night. Quite a race, quite a race.
You also mentioned another legendary person you've been involved with. I understand that your relationship with C.J. Rabin, to a certain degree, made him a legend as far as building oval track cars.
Yeah, he's quite a man. See, he's not doing well right now. I understand he's in bad shape as far as health goes. I come down here to see him as well as all the other people today. I'm sure he'll be here.
Kenny, you raced at the Speedrome at the top level the better part of a quarter century. Do you regret anything about that, or do you wish you could get back out of the race all over again?
No, I don't regret anything about the career I had, We done the best that we could do, what we had to do it with. I run for the Emerson Brothers and Keats for 5 years, and they was the second to none. If they wanted something, they bought it, simple as that. And I run for my brother Mikey and Tommy. We was a team for a year. It was a little bit tougher wiggling dollars out of them guys than it was the Emerson Brothers.
And one other person I have to ask you about to find out of how tough a competitor he was, a person who was a legend at the Indianapolis Speedrome about the same time that you were, Wayne Arnold.
Wayne, he's a tough cookie. Yeah, he won every night, I won every night, as simple as that. I had to beat him every night to win. If I did, I got to win, simple as that. He was tough.
And that will be our interview with Kenny St. John, 5-time World Figure Eight champion. Glad to see you're up and around and have a chance to meet with us, and we'll have a chance to talk to some other people here about this long history of the Indianapolis Speedrome. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, Kevin. It's great to see you up and around. Well,